Welcome back to another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Nick.
And I'm Michael, and we're going to start off the show talking about the Fairview football team. And the Fairview football team unfortunately lost to Keystone 35-7. They do play Brooklyn on Friday. Nick, what happened in the cross-country meet?
First I just want to say, football team starting off 0-4. That's not really a good look for Fairview. 0-5, my bad, that's what I was thinking. Not a good look for Fairview. Definitely have to win inter-conference, which is actually their division. So we definitely have to get those games. It was sad for that to happen. But cross-country traveled to Black River and actually did really good. There was five times under 18 minutes, and that is actually crazy. Our cross-country team is one of the best teams in the school, if not the best. The order was Connor coming in first, Jack coming in second, which was off. He's been off for a while, so that was actually really crazy for him. Really good job.
Great first meet back from an injury.
Exactly. And Momo coming in third, Peter coming in fourth, and Paul coming in fifth. And Momo coming in third. He's been actually outperforming Peter Butterfield a lot, which is it was kind of a flipped script during the first couple of meets. So it's really going to be cool watching what comes up after towards the end of this, if Momo keeps ahead or Peter comes roaring back, and see where Jack fits in that solid four. Let's see what happens there. Mike, what happened to girls volleyball?
Yeah, they got a big-time victory over Keystone, winning in 4 sets. Also, you forgot to mention Ellie Kaufman for girls cross-country. Mm-hmm. She finished, I do believe, 5th place in the meet.
She finished in 5th.
So that was a great finish for her. And then, Nick, what happened in the soccer games against Buckeye?
Girls soccer lost to Buckeye, unfortunately. It was a really hyped-up game, worth the hype. 0-0 at halftime, then Buckeye came storming out 2-0. But it really felt like girls just were going to, at home, maybe come back and force it into like a close 2-2 draw, close into a tie. I just thought that might happen because it was 2-0, then the 13-minute mark came around, and then the girls scored. Had all the momentum. It was constantly on girls. Fairview were constantly on offense.
Yeah, we were dominating
but
them
really
the
just
final
couldn't.
Couple minutes.
But really just couldn't get the ball in the goal. I guess that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Buckeye played good defensively, and coming out 2-0 to start the half, it's just always hard to come back from. And now, what happened in the boys' game, Mike?
Yeah, the boys' soccer team unfortunately lost to Buckeye 2-1 at Buckeye. Really hard place to play. They complain about the grass because we play on a turf field and they have a grass field. And it rained before, so it was some rough conditions, but they did, unfortunately.
The girls' soccer team lost to Columbia 3-1. It was actually a surprising score based on that the girls had 27 shots on goal, only scored one of them, and the Columbia girls had 3 shots on goal. They lost 3-1, so that means Columbia shot 100% on goal of 3 shots.
And Fairview shot 3.2.
Yeah, that's actually very surprising. The boys beat Columbia though 5-1 pretty handily. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, the boys soccer team on senior night getting a 5-1 victory. Elian Bendo with 4 goals. Just another fantastic game from him. It's not even surprising now. I think it's 22 now.
Lamar Jackson or Bendo, better year.
I'm not sure.
We'll have to do an episode on that.
Yeah, we'll have to compare the Lamar Jackson's touchdowns to Elian Bendo's goals. And also the volleyball team won in straight sets over Firelands. They lose, and now we are going to be previewing the big college football games. Christian, unfortunately, couldn't be here for this episode, so he will not be predicting the games. We start off a huge Pac-12 matchup on a Friday night. Washington versus Stanford. Nick, who do you have?
I have Stanford. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice against picking out Stanford. Definitely the leads in the Pac-12, the leaders here. Christian McCaffrey is just going to do his thing. It seems like every game. And just Stanford, super well coached. Really like the coach. We'll be digging deeper into the coaches, by the way. And we're going to have our own segment about all the coaches and where we rank them. But I just think that David Shaw, great coach. He's really just going to get that Stanford team rolling almost every game they play. Christian McCaffrey, the star level player, they seem to really not have that much. So to have a Heisman type player on that coach Stanford team really spells trouble for anyone they play this season. Mike, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Washington. You mentioned David Shaw is a great coach, and he is a great coach, but I really like Chris Peterson as well. He did a great job at Boise State, and this is the team that he has at Washington. The first year, he's really had a team that can compete, and I love their offense. Their quarterback is just absolutely fantastic. Been throwing the ball all over the field. They did have some trouble with Arizona, but like we saw, a team like Wisconsin had a lot of trouble with Georgia State, and they came out flying against Michigan State. So I expect Washington to bounce back from a rough game, get a very close, hard-fought victory over Stanford. I think it will be a high-scoring game, as I don't think the Huskies' defense will be able to slow down Christian McCaffrey.
Now we're going to go into a big battle between SEC teams, Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee's been playing really well, as Mike said before in past broadcasts. Tennessee has a really talented team, and he doesn't think that Butch Jones is a good coach. I think they are, so that's just a double whammy. Georgia is reeling off a loss to Ole Miss.
Yeah. Nick picked Georgia, so he is trying to forget about that loss, but I don't forget.
Okay, well, my co-host over here is going to preview another game that he predicted wrong, so we'll just wait on that.
Throwing some shade there too.
Yeah, Nick Chubb is just out, I think. So I think Georgia's going to have a lot of trouble with Tennessee.
Yeah, Nick Chubb
Tennessee's going to get the win.
Nick Chubb is hurt. He's banged up. I'm not sure if he's going to play. Not sure if they officially ruled him out yet. But I do not expect him to play. And I love Tennessee's defense. Derek Barnett is going to have a field day against a weak Georgia Bulldogs offensive line. And I really don't think Georgia's that great. They have a freshman quarterback who's fantastic. But I think the rest of the roster isn't up to standards of some of the other SEC teams like Texas A&M, like Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee. I don't think that their roster is as complete and as loaded as those teams. So I do think that Tennessee does get the win. I think they start off slow because they're coming off a high after they did get a huge win over Florida. So now I think that they come back down to earth. They struggle, but I do think Tennessee gets the victory. And now we're going into a Big Ten showdown between Wisconsin and Michigan. You mentioned that I picked against Wisconsin last week for Michigan State, and I'm going to pick against Wisconsin again with another Michigan team. And I got the Wolverines. I absolutely love this football team. I thought that before the year it would be Michigan versus Ohio State to play for a playoff spot, and that prediction is looking awesome. I thought Michigan was a better team, but Ohio State would win, and I'm going to stand by that. I think Michigan's a better team than Ohio State, but Ohio State will win. And I think that Michigan will get a win at home against Wisconsin. They're a lot more quicker on the outside, and I think they use that to their advantage. Nick, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michigan. I mean, I went with Wisconsin because I was confident in them against Michigan State. Whole different animal here with Michigan. I don't agree with my co-host about Michigan being a more talented team than Ohio State. I'm not being biased at all. I just don't think Michigan is just at that caliber yet. Urban Meyer's been recruiting for the past 4 or 5 years. Quality kids going into that program, extreme athletes. They're now on the level of, you could argue, talent-wise, the Alabamas of the world, the LSUs of the world, even though I've said LSU's talented. LSU's talented, they just cannot put that together. Ohio State's
just got a much better program. I think Ohio State is basically Alabama 2.0.
No, yeah, okay, so yeah, I just don't think Michigan is at that level yet. Jim Harbaugh is getting that program going, but just Michigan, I just feel, is just extremely overrated. And
wow, extremely overrated. Yeah, that's bold.
They're really extremely overrated. It's been 2 years with Jim Harbaugh. All these Michigan fans, I mean, I visited Michigan, and they're like, Jim Harbaugh the savior. But I remember when Notre Dame was beating them 37-0 or 32-0 because
pick six the opposite was intercepted.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it would be the opposite this year. But that was only 2 years ago. I don't think they can flip the script to be as good or more talented than Ohio State. That's going to be a discussion later, though, when the two teams meet in the Big Ten championship, or when they meet face-to-face next.
In the final game of the season.
Yeah, it can't be the Big Ten championship, but
because they're on the same division.
It's basically the Big Ten championship.
I have to say something. I think that the Big Ten divisions are so messed up. The top 4 recruiting classes the past 2 years in the Big Ten have been from the same division. It's gone Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan State, flip-flopped orders. And then, the next 4 teams are, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa. And, the divisions, I feel, are so unbalanced. Well, it used to be
even more fair, though, because Nebraska used to be a powerhouse in college football. Yeah. That's changed. I mean, Iowa is good sometimes. Wisconsin is
Wisconsin's on the rise.
They on the rise. They used to be good too.
Yeah, if Wisconsin wasn't good, the other side of the Big Ten would be so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nebraska used to be a powerhouse. I don't know what's really happening to them, but that will be a discussion for another day. Again, I'm thinking Michigan's going to beat Wisconsin. Back to our original topic, I just think Michigan's a way more talented team, and they're really well coached. So Wisconsin's just going to take the L in this one.
And Nick, we got the big game of the week. Arguably the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Louisville versus Clemson. Who do you have?
I'm not going to go so far as to say it's the biggest game of the year.
So far.
Oh, so far. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I was really wondering where you were at in the mental, but
no, I thought before the year Ohio State Michigan would be the biggest game of the year, and I still think it's on track to be that way.
Yeah. Okay. So Louisville, Clemson, Lamar Jackson playing fantastic. 2 really stud wide receivers on that team that Lamar Jackson can work with. I just think that Lamar Jackson's going to pull off some college football heroics. Won't happen in the NFL. Like I said, I don't trust him as an NFL quarterback, but it's college football. He's been playing super well, super consistent. 7 touchdowns last game, and that's not even talked about because of what he's been doing all season.
That's just another average game for Lamar Jackson.
I just think he is going to shine against Clemson. He has 2 really stud wide receivers. That's all you need. Having 2 stud wide receivers with that offense, with that quarterback, and the defense is playing well, I think that's too much for Clemson. I also believe Clemson's been underperforming as of late. Mike, what do you think?
First off, I have no idea what's going to happen this year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I could see Louisville getting a blowout just like they did against Florida State.
I could see that.
I could see Lamar Jackson having a bad game, throwing a couple picks. Clemson gets up big early, and Clemson rides that home momentum and blows them out. So I'm going to start off. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. There's no way I'm betting anything on this game except if the over-under comes down real low and I'm enticed to take the over. But I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Clemson because I trust them more from the last season.
Yeah.
And at home in the crunch time situations, I trust Deshaun Watson with the game on the line more than I trust Lamar Jackson right now. Lamar Jackson is a fantastic player, Heisman favorite right now. But I think with the game on the line, I'll put my prediction in the hands of Deshaun Watson right now and the Clemson Tigers, a team that I saw a lot last season that was very successful, that I obviously watched all games because they were very talented and very high in the rankings last year. So I'm gonna go with the Clemson Tigers to get the victory.
Yeah, I think in this year I just like the stories of college football I've been going with. Last week I went. Who did I go with? That I was like
Wisconsin.
Was it Wisconsin? Yeah, I went with Wisconsin. I forget. I picked
Arkansas.
No, UCLA against Stanford. I'm just thinking about upsets. Arkansas was kind of 50-50. But this year I'm just going to go with that story. I'm going to go with that Lamar Jackson with Louisville. I'll do this all year. You guys will watch out for it. look what I'm thinking as an underdog.
Nick just rides the momentum.
Yeah, I just like to I like to ride that college football story. I like the story of college football. Another reason why I don't really like the NFL because Cleveland, my Brownies haven't been good the past 10, 15 years. They've been awful, historically awful the past 10, 15 years. Haven't been good since 60s.
Start winning some football games, buddy.
So
no, actually lose this year.
Yeah.
Start winning in 2 years.
Exactly. So anyways, that's why I don't like the NFL. One reason. Another reason it's not a story, it's college football. I like the story. That's one of the reasons why I like Notre Dame. One of the many. But I'm going to go with the story this year. I'm going to go with it. So Lamar Jackson, be my hero against Clemson. Let me win this against Michael, please.
Nick, you love the story?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to think you're taking Vandy to beat Florida this weekend. Vandy coming off a great win against Western Kentucky. Florida lost a really emotional game. So you've got to be taking Vandy. The story is all there for Derek Mason to get his first win over a top 25 team.
Yeah, we'll see about that, Mike. I'm not sure if I'll ever be picking Vandy.
All these Vandy haters on the show.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now we're going to segment into our next segment of NFL, the NFL teams. Again, I mean, I was just bashing on it, but it is fun to watch. I mean, it is fun to watch. I like the NFL. So now we're going to go into the Raiders and Ravens. Oakland Raiders versus Baltimore Ravens. I really like Oakland this year. I just love Khalil Mack. I love Derek Carr. He's on my fantasy team. I like the O-line. I just like everything about their team. I like the defense a lot. So I'm going to pick Oakland against Baltimore. I mean, anyone that is down 20-0 or 21-0, whatever it was, to the Browns,
Cleveland Browns
in halftime, I just can't trust anymore. I just can't trust it. But They did come back, but that's regard the point. I like Oakland. I like the defense. I like Derek Carr. Mike, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Oakland, and just a quick side note, I am the worst NFL predictor of all time. I went 0-5 on my bets in week 1, and then I went 0-5 on my bets week 2, and then 0-4 in our predictions on the show for week 3. So I might be the worst NFL predictor alive. So I'm going to go with the opposite of what I usually think. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking the Raiders in this one. Because my head tells me Baltimore's undefeated and at home. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with the opposite of what my head should say. And I'm going to go with the...
Or he's just covering up just to agree with me because I'm always right. That might be another reason.
Nick, you went 0-4 as well. So
in what?
In the NFL predictions.
We had 4 that we picked the same in the NFL.
We picked the same in the
That's
NFL.
Another. Maybe I was just delusional and maybe I was just going the easy route to agree with him. But maybe that just tells me
something. You're not
something.
supposed to agree with me with the NFL.
Maybe that tells me something.
Now we're going into the Chiefs versus Steelers game. Big game. I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one. They're coming off a horrible loss to the Eagles, and I feel like whenever an NFL team gets blown out and absolutely demolished, they come back the next week stronger. You saw it with the LA Rams. What?
The Browns.
Well, the Browns aren't talented, so you can't compare the Browns getting blown out because that happens almost every week.
Okay.
So you saw it with the LA Rams, they got blown out on Monday Night Football, came back the next week, beat the Seahawks. I think that after the Steelers get blown out, they do come back strong and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Nick, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers too. Again, I don't really like agreeing with Michael because I just never do on the show, but I like the Steelers. My mom is from there, but that's not why I'm picking them. I just like the organization. I like the foundation they've come in place, ownership. Le'Veon Bell is back. Ben Roethlisberger is playing pretty good. Antonio Brown's playing amazing. I just think that that the Steelers organization will come through. I love organization in the NFL. I think that it goes from ownership, GM. I think it comes top to bottom. That's how you have to structure your organization. I do like the Steelers in this one.
Nick, tell us about the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, Vikings and New York Giants. Vikings have been playing super well. Even though they've been hit by a rash of injuries, it was just unreal. From Teddy Bridgewater, Adrian Peterson, that would have been a dynamic thing if they would have started picking up. Matt Cleary, their offense is injured, but their defense is super good. They have a bunch of studs there. That's all through the draft. I really like the Vikings. Also, New York Jets had been playing really well until they lost to the Redskins. So not a good look for them. But Odell Beckham's on their team, superstar talent, and Eli Manning just keep on doing you, boy. He just somehow I don't know. I feel like alternate seasons not really talked about, but is talked about just controversially. Yeah.
Nobody appreciates a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Okay, everyone appreciates that, but
they don't.
That's also fluky.
Beating an undefeated Patriots team, and then he beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
I know, that's crazy.
That's not fluky.
That's unheard of. No, that's awesome, but also you gotta think Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but has he won?
Is that
2?
Him?
He hasn't done it twice. You can get one time lucky. Trent Dilfer got one time lucky. I didn't see Trent Dilfer going twice. Eli Manning went twice, and.
But I'm going to pick...
you haven't said who you got?
No,
Mike. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
I'm going to pick the New York Jets here. I just think the Vikings, at some point, no offense is going to come back on them.
That's interesting. My head tells me that the Vikings should win. They're 3-0, coming off a big victory over the Carolina Panthers. The Giants just came off of a loss to the Washington Redskins, and the Vikings are at home. So I think I am going to go with the Minnesota Vikings in this game. And Nick, do you have anything to say before I wrap up the show?
No, I don't, Mike. Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, and I got to give a quick shout-out to my boys at Tottenham from North London. They got a huge victory in the Champions League against CSKA Moscow yesterday, 1-0 over the CSKA Moscow team, and they got the victory. It was a fantastic game to watch. Heung-min Son with the goal. They also won in the BPL and play the number 1 team in the BPL. Tottenham are number 2 on Sunday. Should be an awesome game. Tottenham.
That's really impressive that you can just name off those names like that, like Heung-min Son from blah blah blah.
From Tottenham.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Go for you, dude.
Nick,
never played soccer, but a soccer fan. That's awesome.
I played Pee-wees. I was the best player on my first grade rec soccer team.
What happened?
So I gave up the sport. You know, some
Hey, you
legends.
didn't give it up. He watches it. That's what you got to do.
I do watch it now.
3 things of sports. You gotta either play it, watch it, or argue about it later. That's the 3 rules.
I don't think you should be doing the third one if you don't do one of the first 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay, and that will wrap it up for this episode of FHS Season Tickets. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more FHS Season Ticket videos.